Title, Romans 6, 1-14, Who are we? Jesus' death and Content 6, 1-14, Who are we? United in Jesus' death and resurrection, an individual's self-concept is at the core of his personality, Joyce Brothers. Self-concept affects every aspect of a person's behavior. Spiritual maturity begins with a correct self-concept. Today's text presents our self-concept based on our knowledge of Jesus' death and resurrection. 1. We are under grace, 14, 5, 2, 5, 20-21. Because of Adam, sin, death, and the law reigned, 5, 21. Grace reigns because of the cross of Jesus. You must understand this well. God gives life and blessings on the basis of the death of Jesus, not our works. Even if we sin, He does not judge us, but gives us life and blessings. This is the kingship of grace. That is, where sin increased, grace abounded all the more, 5:20. Verse 14 also confirms this. This is the uncompromising truth, the gospel. The question is in verse 1. The text gives the answer and why. 2. In union with Jesus Christ, we have died to sin and have a new life of resurrection to God, 2-10. How? God did it through the death and resurrection of Jesus, 9-10. He created the order of grace and new life. We are united with Jesus in baptism, dead to the old order governed by sin and death, and to the old man governed by it, and share in the resurrection life of the new order of grace. As such, the death and resurrection of Jesus have become historical facts of the past and the most important spiritual reality we experience today. This is where the self-concept that a Christian should have begins and completes. The death and resurrection of Christ is my death and resurrection. This is the basic knowledge of the gospel and the basic structure and content of life that you need to know in the life of faith. We who have a new life must live a life that fits our new identity. The purpose and direction of life has changed. This is the decisive sign of one who has a new life. Now we must live for God, Romans 14, 7-9. This is the purpose of salvation and the purpose of Jesus' death and resurrection. 3. Believers, united to Christ, are dead to sin and alive to God. What remains, then, is to accept, 11, and apply, 12-13, what God has done for us. I'm not telling you to kill yourself here. We are not in a position to control the death of our old self. We simply accept the death and resurrection of Jesus for us as our own events by faith. The result is to take seriously the fact that we are new beings living under grace, in new circumstances, rather than under sin and the law. Therefore, on the basis of this fact, reject the reign of sin, and present yourself to God as one who is raised from the dead.